Hi everyone, it's Mary from Joyful and Mary Quilting. Have you ever stood up from your sewing machine? I know, we all have. And you realized you are wearing your entire project on your shirt. Threads are everywhere. And I've had people ask me, what do we do to get that lint off of our clothing? So today I'm going to test 4 different ways to remove threads from your clothing, and we'll see what actually works best. We're going to test the Magik Brush, the Good Grips brush, the Scotch-Brite sheets, and then we are going to test the pet hair pickup roller. Comes like this. Each method is going to be rated on effectiveness, ease of use, and cost value. So we're going to take whatever product we're using and we're going to swipe it on the linty shirt, and we'll see how long it takes to make it actually look good, threads removed, or maybe we can't. We'll see. So first of all, I want to talk about a couple of additional home remedy methods. We're not going to really experiment with those because we're going to actually test products. But I know many of you will say, I can do this at home without buying anything. I can use a damp washcloth. And what you usually would do with that is lightly dampen a washcloth, don't soak it. And then we would either lay our garment flat or we would just brush our garment off, wiping gently in one direction. Flip the cloth as needed and repeat. Now, the threads are going to collect on the cloth, we know that, and this is really the simplest method, and it uses items you already have at home. A damp washcloth or a piece of tape from a dispenser also works as a home remedy. So what are the pros of either using a damp washcloth or tape? There's no cost to using a damp washcloth. You've got the water, you've got the cloth, it's easy to use. When it comes to using tape, whether it's packing tape, Scotch tape, whatever, oftentimes we have easy access to that as well. But there are some cons with these home methods. First of all, for the damp washcloth, you may not realize it, but water can cause the lint to actually smear or pull the color out of it and stain your clothing rather than lifting the lint off the fabric. You've got to be careful with that. It's also not effective for embedded threads. If the threads are really stuck to your clothing, it's difficult for a washcloth to get those off. You can move it around, but it may not remove it. Now, when it comes to tape, whether it's the Scotch tape or the packing tape for lint, it's not really the best choice either. It's not as sticky as a proper lint roller, first of all, so you're going to go through a lot more tape trying to get the same results, and it's going to cost you more because you went through a lot of tape. So those are 2 things. We are not going to talk about those home remedies or test them on our linty shirt, but rather we're going to talk about products that were actually made or created in order to remove lint from our clothing. So let's test these and see how they do. So the first one we're going to test, method 1, is the Magik Brush. It's a lint brush. Here's the steps that the instructions recommend. They say that you need to brush in the direction of the fabric grain. So whatever the grain of the fabric is, you want to brush in that direction. It says use short, consistent strokes, and then when you clean the brush, you brush it in the opposite direction. Now, feeling it, it has a nap to it, so you can hear it. When I brush in this direction, it feels like this is the one that's going to remove the lint. When I brush in this direction, it feels smooth, so that's how I'm going to clean it, okay? So let's give it a try. We're going to brush in this direction, and we'll see how it works. Oh yeah, look at that. And I am barely pushing down on this, and it is doing a great job on this part. Okay, but it's starting to not work. Well, it still works pretty well, but this is why, because it's full of lint. So I need to remove the lint as I'm going along from what I can see. So if I brush it in this direction, now with the smooth side, look at the lint comes right off. So I can actually do that, clean it, and you want to make sure that it's cleaned well, and then I'm going to brush it again just like I did before and finish up. This works really good. I'm really impressed. This was only $5 and it really does a great job. It has 2 sides and it advertises the 2 sides. You can reuse it and use it, and it gives it a little extra life to the brush. So I think it's a pretty good deal. It's reusable. There's no waste. We're not throwing away sticky papers. And the only thing it says, it does require proper technique to be effective, but I just brushed and that was the proper technique, I guess. So really pretty easy. So for our method 1, I'm pretty impressed with what this does. Our next method, method 2, is the OXO Good Grips brush. So let's take a look and see what this one does. Now, as you can see, there's a thing to hang it, so if you want to hang it somewhere, you just pull it out, and here's the brush. It has a smaller surface area here, but what it says is that this one, you don't have to just do it in one direction. You can roll it back and forth over the fabric. It says to apply light, even pressure, and then it says to clean it, you have to rinse the roller under water. After you've done that, then it says to allow it to dry before you can reuse it again. So those are all the instructions that come with the product. Let's go ahead and try and brush with it and see what happens. So it says we can roll back and forth, and it works. I mean, you can see it's taken off the lint. Now I'm to the point where it looks pretty full here. Now it's not taking the lint off here. You can see it's pretty full. I can pick it off, but it still leaves quite a bit on here. And let's see if I can finish up the job. I can. Some of it's kind of just, I'm moving around some because a lot of the brush is being taken up by those little tiny pieces of lint and thread. I'm not as impressed with this one as I was with method 1, only because it didn't take it off as easily and it wasn't as easy to remove. I'm not really crazy about the idea of having to run it under water and wait for it to dry before I can use it again, especially when I have a lot of lint. Now, if I just had a little bit of lint, it would probably be fine. If you just used it every once in a while, cleaned the lint off, picked off what was there, it probably was okay. The pros for this is a reusable option, so it doesn't require refills, just like the first option. It's environmentally friendly. We're not throwing away all those sticky papers. In addition, this one works in multiple directions. So as I said, you don't just have to brush in one direction. You can roll it around, roll it on your arms, your sleeves. It does talk about it being that way, so that's a good thing. Now, the cons, again, just like I said, you've got to clean it and dry it in between uses. I'm not crazy about that option. The cost is approximately $13, which is a little over twice the price of the first method, but I'm sure that has something to do with the construction of the roller. So that's method number 2. So let's talk about method number 3. Method number 3 is the Scotch-Brite Lint Roller. So from what this says, I'm going to take off the wrapper. Ooh, it's very sticky. Okay, the instructions say you roll it over the fabric using smooth strokes, and when it gets full and it's not taking the lint off anymore, you remove the piece of sticky paper. Now, it says continue with a fresh sheet as needed, which means, of course, that we're going to keep removing this until it's done its job. So let's go ahead and try it and see how it works. Okay, that's pretty good. It does a great job. I mean, you can see, look, it's removing it. And I still have some sticky areas left on here. So it looks to me like that very messy shirt, I could use this a couple more times. I could probably run over this a few more times and still be able to use the same sheet. So it's pretty good. It's really effective, and that's what they say about it in its advertisements. You can see there's a lot of lint on here. There was a lot on my shirt, but it did a pretty good job getting rid of all of it, and I didn't have to do any cleaning. I will have to throw this away. It's quick and easy to use, which is what they advertise, but it does require ongoing purchases of the refill sheets. So you'll get another roll, or sometimes they come in several in a pack. Now, the ones that I purchased, it was about $4 for 900 sheets, or about a half a penny per sheet. So if you take a look at that, you've got a lot of lint on here. One time through, it's going to last a long time, a lot of sweeps. So then when you're going to remove it, you've got to find the end, wherever that is, which is always kind of a pain on these. There it is. And we will take it and pull it off, and it's ready to go again. You don't pull it off until you're ready to use it again, because otherwise lint is going to collect on this while it's not doing its job. So once you pull the sheet off, you're ready for another swipe. But as you can see, it did a pretty good job on a really linty shirt. So I'm impressed. Method number 4 is this pet hair pickup. And it says extra sticky roller, and this is the large size. So you take off this outside piece and then you put it on the roller. Now, it says that you roll slowly over the fabric with a firm pressure. You focus on areas with heavy lint or with thread buildup, and you replace adhesive sheets as they fill up with lint. Okay, so just like the other roller that we had. But what I really liked about this, first of all, it says it was designed for pet hair. And this option is typically a stronger adhesive when it comes to taking up pet hair. So it really should work well for lint and thread. I don't know, I haven't tried it. So we're going to try it first and see how it goes. Oh yeah, and I'm barely putting pressure on it. And it's removing my threads. Now I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's removing them any better than the other one that I had. They're gone, and you can see that I have thread on the roller, so it's picked up a lot of thread, and there is still a lot of sticky left. So I think that's what we're going for, is we want to make sure that we can keep using it a lot. Now I'll tell you, first of all, I really like that it comes in this little holder, because you can just put it in the holder and then use it as needed. But what I liked even more was the paint roller look to it, because I can use it on my design wall. And that is a huge problem that I have as I put more quilt tops. Every quilt top or every block gives off lint and threads on my design wall that I want to remove. And I think this is going to be a great way to do that. So it may not be necessary on my clothing to have such a heavy duty type lint remover, but I think it would be really great for my design wall. So we'll see. But one thing that it does say when it comes to using this particular roller is that it's excellent for stubborn lint and thread, but it might be a little too aggressive for delicate fabrics. It could stretch them, maybe pull the threads where you don't want that to happen. So you want to be careful that when you use it, you don't push too hard on it if you are using it on a delicate fabric, or make sure that you check and make sure that it's not sticking to it and pulling it up and stretching it out. So the cost is about a penny a sheet when you figure out with what you get. So it's really, again, inexpensive, especially if you can use it for more than one time. And it looks like you can, because like I say, it's pretty sticky. So those are the 4 methods. Let's talk about each one and just kind of compare them. The first method was the Evercare Magik Lint Brush. I thought it was really effective. I thought it was good. I loved it. It was easy to use. I didn't have any trouble when I was using it. It was easy to clean, which I thought was really important. And the cost was, I thought, pretty reasonable. You don't need any replacement sheets. Use it as often as you like. There's 2 sides to extend the life. I loved it. I thought this was a really great product, and it was very inexpensive. Our second one is the OXO reusable roller. I thought it was medium effectiveness. I didn't like it as well as I liked the Magik Brush. I did like that you could do it in all different directions in order to get the lint off. I thought that was positive. It was a little more expensive. As we said, you don't need replacement sheets, so it's environmentally friendly. It is definitely reusable for that very reason, but I didn't like the way you have to wash it. And all I could think of was, what about all those threads going down my sink as I'm trying to clean it off? I like this one that I just cleaned off with my hand, and then maybe occasionally you would want to wash it off just to get the rest of the lint out of it. So this worked. It worked okay, but I didn't think that it worked as well as this reusable brush. Now, remember, the third one was our Scotch-Brite Everyday Clean. This was the sheets, the sticky sheets that you have to clean off. It was very effective. I thought it was great. In fact, I've bought a lot of these lint rollers, and I've not had one that worked as well as this particular brand, and I'd never tried this one before. So I thought it was very easy to use. I thought the cost was pretty inexpensive, $4, but again, it does need the sheets replaced. So no, it's not reusable, but again, it's pretty reasonably priced. So I liked this one if I'm going to use the sticky sheets. The fourth one, the Pet Hair Extra Sticky Roller, really worked well. I didn't notice it working any better than this one when it came to removing the thread. Now, maybe for pet hair, this would be better than this one, but I'm not talking about that right now. We're talking about removing thread and lint from our fabric. So I thought they worked pretty much the same. It was super easy to use. Again, I really liked the fact that I could use this as a paint roller on my design wall. So that for me was a huge plus with this particular product. The cost, again, a little high, higher than the rest that we had. It was about $21 for 2,700 sheets. That includes several rollers, replacement rollers, in addition to this particular case and the roller that it comes with. So with the whole package, it ran about a penny a sheet. Remember, this one is about a half a penny a sheet, and these are reusable. So here are my final thoughts. When it comes to purchased products, each method has its place depending on your needs. I felt like the sticky rollers really were the most effective for quick cleanup, but they need replacement sheets. The sheets are relatively inexpensive, but one lint removal could take several sheets. Now, from what we did, they didn't. It really did pick up pretty well, but again, it just depends on what you're using it for. I feel like they both were kind of a medium value. This was a little bit more expensive, but it does have the case with it, and it does have the extra stickiness used for pet hair, so that could be the increase in price. Now, a damp washcloth or a tape works in a pinch, but it's not the most efficient. Most quilters will likely benefit from having more than one option available, and that's why I showed you 4 plus the 2 home remedies. But here's what I want to tell you. There is one way that you can totally keep that lint off of your clothing, and that is to wear an apron. And if you have an apron and you put it on and you use that anytime you're working with your fabric, it'll keep the lint on your cotton apron, and cotton tends to not pick it up quite as easily as the knit shirts that we wear, and you don't have to worry about using these products as often. You'll still want to clean your apron. So this is my easy on-point apron, and it's really simple to put together. There's a link in the description if you're interested. That's a great way to catch those threads before they end up all over your clothes in the first place. In closing, let me know which method you use most often, and maybe there's one that I should try that I haven't tried here. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials and tips. I'm always trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. Thank you so much for joining me.